So on the Duke Homebuyer website, there is also a link to um, an old podcast I did on visioning, which you might want to, refer to as well as another link to a list of things that talks about visioning and other things, to reasons to create a vision board as well. So let's talk about visioning and what the purpose is and what you hope to achieve. So way back in the early part of my career, when computers were not on everyone's desk and you did not have a computer in the palm of your hand called a phone, you didn't even have a mobile phone. If you had a phone, it was in a big bag about the size of 4 bricks. Eliza, this was before you were even born. This was a long time ago. I went to a workshop and the woman said, this was before, if any of you know about The Secret, and they talk about the book and The Secret and all like that, this was way before all of that. And she did a workshop talk saying that your mind is a computer. And I never forgot that. It made a big impression because it is really true. You can train your mind to do whatever you want it to do. I have not been able to train mine to stop eating Oreos yet, but I'm working on that one, okay? But you can train your mind and focus. And so a visioning board helps you to collect the thoughts that you'd like to focus on, the things you'd like to focus on, and give them to you in a visual pattern. Now, if we were all together in a room, I have all of these great I have all kinds of scissors and all kinds of pictures, and I would have passed out magazines. And this is from the last time I did a visioning exercise. And then I'd let you cut out the pictures you like, and I'd give you some glue sticks and highlighters and glitter, but we don't have all of that. So you're gonna have to take some of your kids' school supplies, go in and get some of those old magazines and blow the dust off of them, because you're gonna create your own visioning board at home. And so it starts with, what are the top 3 to 5 goals you'd like to focus on in the next year, okay? And these should be things, it could be for home ownership, it could be something as simple as you want to increase your credit score, you want to pay off a bill. It might be something like you want to save more, or it could be as simple as you want to stop eating out. You want to cook more. You want to learn how to cook. I assume everybody learns how to cook because I'm old, and growing up, we didn't have a choice. You had to cook if you wanted to eat. But there are lots of folks. I have a godchild. She has no clue. She knows how to call people and have it delivered, and that is really what she's good at. But I'm from the generation where, we all had to cook. So that might be something you want to do. But I want you, and today, since we're not all together and we don't have the paper and all that stuff, your homework is going to be to work on this once we're done. But I do want you to take out a pen and paper and kind of make some notes about what you think you'd like to vision. So the first thing is, you want to focus on those 3 to 5 things that you'd really like to work on in the next 12 months, okay? Because you don't want to overwhelm yourself, and you want to be able to have your board to be something that you can, look at. You don't want to overwhelm it so that it's so busy you can't see the visions. So when you do a board, now you've got some pictures, Eliza, and Eliza will show you what my board looks like. And this is one on a cardboard, and it's about maybe a foot by, that's my board. And so it's a piece of cardboard. It's about 2 feet by 1 foot, or 18 inches. And that was that was the board that I made at the beginning of 2020. So that was in January, pre-COVID. And so I'll share with you some of the thoughts I had about my board. So on the left side, the first thing, which you may not be able to read, says a clutter-free house. So Right. Yeah. So I'm one of those that I collect a lot of stuff. And so one of my goals was to have a clutter-free house. So in COVID, I have eliminated a lot of stuff, but I still have a lot of stuff to get rid of. So I'm still working on that one, but that was a goal that I started working on in 2020. Eat fewer calories, as I've already admitted to you. I don't have a COVID 15. I probably have maybe a COVID 7 pounds, but eating fewer calories is a goal of mine. So I'm still working on that. And then the last one is finishing strong. So it's, you know, when I created that, we did have we had just gone through our merger at work. And so finishing strong for me meant, doing all the things that I've done in the past and doing them well and continuing to be a strong professional in my career. So those were the things that were on that side of my board, the things that I kind of wanted um, to work on that side. So, and the top of it was let's go. So to do more of, so to get more of, so work more on the clutter, work more on the eating fewer calories, and work more on finishing strong. And then on the other side of my visioning board, these were things that I wanted to, so those were things, I'm sorry, I wanted to let go of. And these were things I wanted to do more of. And so be more romantic with my husband. And well, COVID has made that a possibility because we're together all the time. He's in one room and I'm in the other. And there are days when we really need to be separate, but we have become more romantic as a result of spending more time together. Being a good daughter, I have a 92-year-old mother, and she's challenging. If any of you have senior citizen relatives, you know that it's a blessing, but it can be very challenging. And so I work every day on trying to be a better daughter to her and try to be more sensitive, because seniors, when they change, it's like they age in reverse. And so if you're accustomed to having a senior who's been the smartest person, and then now they're not, and they're starting to lose some of that capability, it can be hard for you as the child. So I share that with you if you have senior relatives. And so I've tried to focus on the things I can do to better understand and be a better daughter to her. The next one is focusing on gratitude. One of the things early on in COVID, I did a seminar on focusing on gratitude. And so every morning when I wake up, instead of saying, oh Lord, I have to get this done, I have to do that, I start by saying, Lord, thank you for all of these things. So I wanted to be intentional about gratitude. And then the last two, a sense of self, be more aware of who I am and, be more conscious of the things I'm doing. The music, I was supposed to be singing in the choir at church again, but as you can tell, COVID knocked that in the head. And then the last one, rock solid retirement. So I'm close to retirement. I have about 3 more years. And so my focus there was to remind me to start saving more and thinking about things that I want to do to prepare myself for retirement. So assess my 401k, make sure I'm putting enough in, have talked to a financial advisor, do my will, do those things that make me in a rock solid position for retirement. So that was mine. I'm going to stop. Does anybody have any questions at this point about the vision that I had in 2020? No? Okay. So I'm going to ask you now to go in the chat and tell me what would be your number one goal you'd like to see on your vision board for the next 12 months. Because I cannot talk for the whole hour. This has got to be on you guys too. So you can either put it in the chat or you can say it. What would you like to focus on yours? Increased credit score. That's a good one. Okay. Okay. Increased credit score. Okay. Go to the gym more. Yeah, eventually. But as my doctor told me one day, walking is free. Save money for a down payment. Okay. Save more money for, okay. And so pay off student loans. Okay. Okay. All of those are very good. So now what would that look like if you had to put that on a vision? Because what are the words, what are the pictures that would help you see that? Because what you ultimately want to do with the visioning board is, this is putting your goal to you in pictures. So if saving money is something you'd like to do, what I want you to do is find a picture of money, and maybe, or a bank statement, a picture of a bank statement, and put your name and then the amount you'd like to see in your savings account. So if you Google, bank statements, you can find pictures of everything on the internet, or you can just draw one. But at the end of the day, what you want to see is, what is that amount? Because you don't want to just say save money. You want to know how much it is you need to save. So do you need 1,000? Do you need 2,000? And then what you want to do is have a picture of that bank statement with deposit, 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 balance $1,000, and put that on your board as a picture. If you want to pay off your student loans, then what you want to see is take a picture of the statements you get from them. And then at the bottom, right, show paid, 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 balance zero, and envision that. And, I don't know how big your student loans are. That might not be something you can do in 12 months. So maybe your goal would be to pay down X amount. And so you would show that amount rather than paid in full, if that's not possible in the next 12 months. If you wanted to increase your credit score, a picture of your credit report. What are the things you need to work on to improve your credit score? So credit score is maybe a 2-3 part vision. So it's the result of, one, paying down some bills, and two, continuing to utilize your credit on time. So to improve your credit score, there are 2 things you have to do: lower your debt, and find one credit card that you can use monthly and pay off. And so if you're buying stuff online, let that be the credit card. You use it and pay off. Use it and pay off, because that will help you increase your score more than anything else that you can do. Okay? And so the picture of that might be a picture of your credit report, and instead of it having a balance, maybe you do a picture and you have zero. Again, you can go online and find pictures of credit reports. You can go online and find a picture of anything, and print it out and put it on your board, okay? And then put down, so for credit score, you might just put FICO score 750, if that's your goal, okay? And then write that on a piece of paper, and maybe put some glitter on it and stars and, something else just to pop so that you can see it. So those are the kinds of things you want to put on your vision board. And going to the gym, a picture of the gym, Planet Fitness, or maybe you want, a picture of a treadmill, or whatever makes sense to you, and put that on your visioning board. Or put a picture of you on the treadmill and put it on your visioning board. Because remember, this is a visual reminder of your goals. Now, I know when Donna talked to you about budgeting, and I know Donna probably talked to you about writing all of this down, right? And keeping a journal and keeping records. I'm sure that's what you do. But this is more of a picture. And that's why I asked, what color makes you happy? Because in addition to these things, your goals, you want to put some things that you like seeing. So if you remember my board, if you put it back up, Eliza, at the very bottom, Can you put my picture back up? Yes. So at the very bottom, there you go. You see the beach? That's my happy place. Because you want it to be pictures of things you like to see. And you see pink flowers. Why? Because I love pink flowers. I love flowers. I love fresh flowers. And before COVID, I used to buy fresh flowers every week. Now I try to get them when they're on when Instacart, wherever I'm getting from Instacart can bring them, but I don't get them every week like I used to. But those are things that make me happy. I love the beach, and we haven't been since COVID, but I can look at that picture and remind me of how happy I am when I'm there. So that's why the colors are important. This should be something you enjoy looking at. It should be something that you can either take a picture of the whole board and look at it on your phone, or what I recommend, depending upon, who you want to see this, you can take it down, Eliza. You may want to stick it on your refrigerator. You may want to put it in your bathroom on the wall. You might want to put it in the nightstand, in a drawer where as you pull it out at night, you see it. But this should be a visual reminder of your goals that you've set and your ambitions for getting things done. And so that's why it's important for it to be things you would love to look at on a regular basis. That's why the color is important. So if pink is your color, then you might start off with pink paper, or you would do your writing in bright, pretty pink, or you put some pink glitter on it. If blues and greens are your colors, and you start out with a sheet of blue paper and you put, sparkly green or something like that, because you want, when you see it, to be visually pleasant to look at. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm going to stop again, and I want you to talk. Tell me what you're thinking, what questions you have, what would you like to do? How do you see your visioning board coming along? Or if you don't talk, I'll pick on you.
Oh, I see mine. I see my house in the picture.
You see your house. Excellent. So go into one of those, if you go in the grocery store, which I haven't been to in a long time, those home magazines, cut out a picture of something, or either on the internet again, put the picture of the house you want. And maybe you put that in the very middle of the dream house you'd love to have, in the very middle. And then you put, credit score or some of the other things around it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Because at the end of the day, you're in this club. Why? To buy a house. So maybe it's not the whole house. Maybe you have always wanted a fireplace. You always wanted a house with a fireplace. So maybe you put a picture of the fireplace. Maybe you've always wanted a house with a deck. You put a picture of the deck. So it doesn't have to be the whole house. It could be something that, you have always said you wanted in your next home. And so those are the kinds that you want to put on your visioning board to remind you of why you're not going shopping, to remind you of why you're going to save money, to keep you focused on why you're going to stick to your budget and not order that pizza. Okay? And so this helps you every day when you look at it. That's why you wanted to put it on, while I would say, about like I said, this board is about 2 feet by 18 inches. So it's about 24 by 18 piece of board. You could put it on an 8.5, 11 if you want to, but it should be something that it's kind of thick enough that it can hang it, it can hold up to the pictures you want to put on it. Who else wants to share what they'd like to see on theirs? Okay, I'm gonna pick on you.
I'll share.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about how we're going into fall and the days get shorter. And as the days get shorter, I'm more likely to be inside, especially during COVID, and think about ordering food and not being as creative about what I can do outdoors because summer is over. So thinking about photos that encourage me to get outside, that fall weather is beautiful, that, you know, if I'm still, I can go on a walk as a break, in ways in which I can get outside and encourage myself not to pull out that debit card and order food or online shop.
And order food, that's right.
Yeah. So some
Absolutely.
apple picking photos, maybe some beautiful fall photos. We've got lots of great outdoor space here that and other, like Falls Lake isn't far. So what are the other options that I could do?
Absolutely. That's my favorite time of year. So someone else said they wanted a porch. They always dreamed of a house with a porch. I have a niece, and she always wanted a house with a wraparound porch. That was her dream house. So you put a picture of the best porch you've ever seen in the middle of your visioning board. When we moved here from Virginia, we had built a sunroom, and I thought my husband was gonna, in the house in Virginia, he would lose his mind until we got a sunroom here. So that is one of the things that, and for sure, he spends probably 80% of his day in that sunroom. He loves it. And so those are the kinds of things that you want to think about when you are doing your visioning board, because it helps to keep you motivated. And remember, I told you the lady said your mind is a computer. If you start seeing that every day, your subconscious is always talking. It's always working. And it's so saying when you think about, I want to do that. Sometimes it's like, oh no, you need to, like, we're trying to get to pay off the debt, or your subconscious will kick in and start to help you to achieve your goals. Your subconscious will say, remember, you want that house with that porch on it, it literally will talk to you. It'll help you. I'm one of those folks. I'm weird. I will admit, if I'm having a real issue and I can't figure it out, I'll put it to my brain and go to sleep. And I'll kind of tell my brain, figure this out. And when I wake up in the morning, most of the time I'll have the answer, because your subconscious works while you're asleep. And so it works the same way for goal setting and helping you to get where it is you want to go. And I encourage you to do this with your children too. If you have family members, sit down, everybody, and do one. Because I think it's a fun, especially now with COVID and you're in the house, this is a fun activity. It's been raining a lot. One of those evenings when it's raining, get kind of quiet, turn off the TV, put on some good, thinking music, and take some old magazines and, crayons and some scissors, and sit down with your family and say, what is it that you really want to focus on the rest of this year or the next 12 months? And find a picture of it and then go from there. So if you have, children that are old enough to participate, I think it's a good way. They're working on improving their math scores or something like that. It's a good way to help them be focused as well on, achieving their goals. If they're saving for college, a picture of what that college, like their favorite college they'd like to go to, and again, a statement of their savings account. So, or if they're saving for a car, picture of the car, and then, what that looks like around there. So there are all kinds of things that you can put in your visioning board, but you want to put, so the house, the porch, the fireplace in the middle, and then the things around it that will help you get there will continue to remind you every day of what steps are required to get where you want to go. So I'm going to stop again there. Any questions? Do you see yourself doing this? Or did you just get on because Larissa told you to? I can't hear you. Did you say something? Well, how many of you are going to do it? Okay. Vanilla Fields. Is that vanilla? Okay. Naya. Okay, I can. Okay. Am I saying that right? Is it Naya? Okay. Okay. Amy. Naya says yes, it is. Will sound like fun. It is fun. It's fun. It is fun. You know, I like arts and I'm an arts and crafts kind of person. So those kinds of things, you know, it gives you joy and it kind of takes your mind off of the stress of, you know, being at home. It gives you something else new and different to do. And it's really good if you can do it with, you know, with your family. And then again, so after you created the board, remember you want to put it somewhere where you can review it all the time, every day. So the other thing this lady in this class said that your mind requires 28 days. Anybody have heard this? It requires 28 days of constant reminders to make it happen. And if you've ever done anything, one of the hardest things I ever did was quit smoking. And so what I told myself for 28 days before then was that I would quit smoking on this date. And I kept saying it to anybody that wanted to know if they didn't want to know. So for 28 days prior to my date, and I set my birthday, and this has been over 30 years ago now, as the date. And when that day came, I quit. And it was not as hard as I thought it would be. It was hard, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. And it was because I had kind of, my mind had already kind of processed and programmed that I would quit smoking. And so 28 days is kind of your magic. So, you know, buying a house, this is a journey. It's not anything you can wake up in the morning and do. And so what we want you to do is be as focused and prepared as possible. And we've created a series of classes to help you. And this one is kind of serious because what we want to make sure is that you are serious about buying a house. I can tell you, we've been doing this Homebuyer Club thing now for, how long has it been, Larissa? How many years?
I think it's been about 7 years since we've started with the first group. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so there are people who've come and never bought the house. And we have people who come in 6 months, they were like, boom, I got this. And so you can determine what it is, how important this is to you. Okay? I can talk to you about anything because I can talk to you about most things. And I've been in the banking industry for a long time. But only you know how important buying a home is to you. And only you can make the changes necessary to get there. And so it is a journey. And every day, if you're looking at that visioning board and reminding you of the things that you need to do to get there, that's just one more step to help you stay focused. Because I promise you, COVID is just one of many things that has thrown us off of our game this year. You know, it's been so much happening, and this probably is the worst we've ever seen. But you know, there could be, it can, and it probably will get worse. You know, there are folks that, you know, your job may be laid off. I mean, you may be laid off. Your job may be, your hours may be cut. So there are other things that can happen, but you have to still stay focused, because even if that happens, there's always going to be a way for you to move to the next step. So I don't want you to get, so you stay focused on what your goal is. not the thing that run in your way, you know, sidetrack you, because they will, you know. You could be sick, somebody could be sick, you know, all kinds of stuff could happen. But you have to decide to stay focused and work on your goal. And even in the midst of things that may come your way, you want to still stay focused on trying to get where you want to go, the next step. Okay, Larissa, I'll turn it back over to you.
I have to tell you a little bit about my home buying story. I started off with a counselor at Durham Affordable Housing Coalition, which was the predecessor to Reinvestment Partners Housing Counseling Program. And it took us 5 years. And my husband was working at Duke, but, you know, as a lecturer, and it took both of us getting full-time jobs before we could afford just a 30-year mortgage with a really affordable payment in those days.
Yeah.
But, so it takes years, and don't give up. You know, things happen, and eventually you will get there. I think it's making your mind up, like Audrey said, and being committed to that goal and just continuing to work towards it. So maybe other people
The first
have
house
things.
I bought with my brother. My brother and I bought it together. My parents gave us the money for the down payment. And we had been in the house for maybe 3 years, and then he decided he wanted to move away. And I could not afford that house by myself. So it was a struggle. But, you know, I had to figure it out. I had a roommate for a while. I had a second job, and sometimes I had both to make it work. But, you know, my focus was to try to hold on to the house. I had, you know, I could have lost it, but I held on to it. So there are going to be bumps in the road. That's life. You just have to figure out what's most important. And so, you know, this may not, you know, if there's a big bump, this may not be the time for you to buy a home, but that doesn't mean you can't come back to this place right here and keep moving and keep focused, because you're going to have all the tools you need to get there from this class. And that's what's most important. You will know what it is you need to get where you want to go.
Are there other people who want to talk about their goals? I saw some lovely visions actually in the chat. I love Nia's The Sound of Rain on the Porch. That was so
Oh yeah. Uh-oh. I hit the wrong button. Yeah. That's one of my husband's favorites. He loves the rain.
Mm-hmm.
He does. My advice, get a piece of tin so you can hear it. Let's see. I can't see the chat. Let's see where am I? Is that the chat? No, that's not it.
People in the chat are just saying, thanks for sharing your stories to both of you. And then Naya was saying, I believe about the tin, that's something my mom would say. The rain in the tin.
Say that again. She
Naya,
believes about the what?
that's something my mom would say, is what Naya said. And I think she's referencing the tin and the rain.
Oh yeah. So let me ask another question. How are you so far headed toward your goals? Where are you? How do you feel you are? Because most of you said in the beginning your goal was to improve your credit score or save money. So how do you feel? Do you feel like you're going to be able to get where it is you want to go?
So I'll hop on. This is my first time to be with the Homebuyers Club. I just completed the first-time homebuyers education course and scheduled my
Mm-hmm.
counseling session with Rosa today. Spoke to her to do that. And I'm actually doing fairly well on making progress towards my goals. I have a deadline imposed by my divorce. So I have till next August, and then I have to leave the family home. So I have, a pretty strong amount of pressure of if I want a home for myself and my child, then, I have a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time. So I've been using some other resources that are also available at Duke. There's because they have the retirement plan, you can get financial counseling advice as well through Fidelity, through the people that manage that program. And so I've been able to work with them over the past little while to make progress and sort of make a plan of which things have priority, and saving for this or paying down for this first, and doing those things. And so so I feel pretty good about it, but I think the biggest encouragement for me is that sometimes you get discouraged and you feel like this is taking forever, or the progress is incremental. And so being able to talk to someone or look at a plan or hear how other people are doing actually just helps you see where you are making progress and not to get discouraged. Even if the progress is small or slow, it feels like someone saying, they're like, okay, well, where are you with paying all this? And you're like, oh, that's great. And you can actually, having that affirmation that what you're doing is the right thing, that you're taking the right steps, has been good.
Absolutely. And no two journeys are the same. So don't be frustrated. Someone made a comment in the chat about their vision was of a holiday. So maybe if you like a favorite holiday, maybe your vision is, holiday decorations, maybe that's what you put in the vision board. For you, you said you had how many, 12 months before you have to have your home? Is that what you said? Did I hear that right? Amy, was it 12 months? Okay, so maybe you, that would be next fall then. So maybe you vision some mums on in a yard, a pretty yard or something, in your visioning board. But you're absolutely right. No two journeys are the same, but you can all encourage each other. That's one of the things about being all working for Duke, even though you're in different departments. It's like you all come to the table with a piece that can help someone else, and that's very important. That's and I'm so sad that we have to do this on Zoom because you guys can't. There's a natural, kind of thing that happens when we're all in the room together that is a little more difficult to make happen in Zoom. But we won't always be apart, and eventually we will get together. But that was good. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Can't work as much due to school, right? So it's going to be 2022 is going to be your big year. That's wonderful. Absolutely. And put that in the middle of your vision board. 2022. A big picture for you. Let's see. But not the 40. Hey, 40 was a good year. Love your 40s. I loved my 40s. I met my husband in my 40s. It was a good year. 40 bigger. Yep. 40s are good. Any year with COVID, especially COVID reminds us, any year we're here is a good year. So.
Yes. Great.
Okay, so Larissa, I'm gonna turn it back over to you again. Anything else we need to do?
There's nothing else we need to do.
Okay, so she just put the next club, which is 24th. And what I'm gonna ask you all to do, since we are not together, is that after you've done your visioning board, that you take a picture and you send it to Eliza. And that way, if you have not done it, we will know. So can I get a promise from everyone that you will take a picture and send it to Eliza?
I put my email in the chat, so you're welcome to. And-
Well, I don't actually use, so my vision board is in Pinterest.
Well then.
Oh, okay.
So because I wanted to be able to have it portable and be able to, you know, look at it at different times. And so I just used Pinterest and created a Pinterest board that was private for myself that was
Send
called.
us a screenshot.
Okay. Okay. We'll do a screenshot.
That's perfect. Yeah, a lot of people do it in Pinterest. I'm not as techie and as possible. I use Pinterest for they have great recipes, but I don't do my visioning board in there. As you can see, I'm old school. I like paper and cardboard and scissors and tape and glue and glitter. But Pinterest is great too.
Patrice, I'm going to share my screen so that because
Okay.
you mentioned the podcast, I want to make sure that folks know where they are.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen in 1 minute. Excuse the plethora of tabs. I'm one of those offenders of, I have many tabs.
10 tabs open at one time.
That's me, as you can see up at the top. So just ignore that. So
Yes.
community.duke.edu. And then you click on neighborhoods. You're gonna scroll down and you'll see a photo of this woman and click on Homebuyers Club. When you scroll down again, you'll see all these different podcasts. And there is one, here it is, episode 4, visualization board or visioning board. And then we've had other topics already covered. So if you want a refresher on budgeting, spending journal, supporting each other, you can see those as well on our website. And then just another reminder that we are also putting these recordings and any resources right here at this link. So if you click at Duke Homebuyers Club resources.
So those are the prior classes.
Yep.
So if you missed one.
If you missed one, and then today's recording, if you want to go back, if you missed something, if you want a refresher, will be in this visioning folder. But so far we have information in opening session, student loans, qualifying for a mortgage, and budgeting. And that includes the PowerPoints as well that were shared. So that's all great information to follow up on. Or if you missed that session, you can go back and listen to it. So just wanted to quickly share those resources with the group.
So we're getting more high tech now. The first time we did this, we gave everybody a notebook. And now we have it all online. So we've moved up a little bit.
Well, we were forced into it. I'm a believer of the note. There's big value in the notebook and writing things down. So
I agree.
hopefully we can meet somewhere in the middle, but
In the middle, yeah.
share resources.
Well, I wish you all good luck. I pray you are able to create great visions. I'm looking forward to whatever you send to Eliza. And so before the next meeting, which is the 24th, so you have until September the 23rd to create your visioning board and get it sent to Eliza.
Thank you all so much for attending.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Does everyone have your email, Eliza, or should we send that out?
She sent it. She put it out in the chat.
it again.
Oh, you did. You're so good. Thank you so much.
There it is again, in case.
Yes. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Great to see you all. And
Seeing everybody.
good luck to everyone achieving your goals. And Kitty, for becoming a nurse in a couple of years. That's amazing.